What is up, YouTube? It's me, John Avenger, once again. Welcome back to another Marvel review. This is not the Blade sequel. This is a film that came out 2 years after the first Blade, and it's pretty much the movie that started the gravy train for Marvel, especially with their, live action adaptations of these comics that they did from years ago. And this is the first ensemble teen movie that came out in the early 2000s. It made a pretty penny. It made stars out of a lot of these actors. And I do enjoy this movie. It's held up even after 15 years, and that is the very first X-Men movie. Yep, I think that this movie is a really good movie. I saw this in the theater when I was 15, and I was blown away because this was the first big superhero team-up movie that I've seen in the theater. I mean, before this, you had Blade, which was too young. I was too young to see it when it came out. You had the Tim Burton Batman movies and the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, and you had the Superman films from the 70s and the 80s. But we never had a Marvel team, movie until X-Men, and this one pretty much set the standard after Blade. It followed in that footsteps. Yeah, it's different from the cartoon from the 90s, which I really enjoyed. I thought the 90s cartoon really set the stage high for Marvel, comics made into cartoons, it was that, and then Spider-Man, etc., etc. But this movie is still holds up. I think Hugh Jackman proved it in this movie and in some of the other films that he is one of the best Wolverines we've ever seen. I like Rebecca Romijn Stamos. Well, this was when she was Stamos. Now she's just Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. I thought she was very sexy in that blue outfit, the blue latex foam and rubber and etc. And the makeup really well done. There's only one Charles Xavier to me when it comes to live action, and that's Patrick Stewart. I don't give a flying fuck about James McAvoy in First Class or Days of Future Past because he's just a douchebag. And really, Charles Xavier should never be a douchebag. He should be wise and strong and a really solid actor that doesn't have to fake a British accent. Patrick Stewart's the man. He owns this role. The rest of the cast, I think they're fine. I mean, well, except James Marsden, I just wish since he is supposed to be Cyclops and the leader of the X-Men, it would be nice if he would take the lead. Because one problem that these films have had since this one, all the way to like Days of Future Past, is that Wolverine is like the most central character. Yes, he's awesome, but he's not the leader of the X-Men. Cyclops is, who's right here. And Storm, I don't hate Halle Berry as Storm. She did a worse job as Catwoman. And hey, they got someone black who it can act, and although she doesn't have the accent that Storm has, at least she tried. Tyler Mane, I think he did Beast. Yeah, I mean not Beast. Sabretooth. It was good. I think Liev Schreiber is a better actor than him in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but he's stuck in a movie that doesn't know what it wants to be. The only actor I don't like in this movie is Famke Janssen. I have not liked this actress since I saw X3, and screw that movie. I hate that movie now. It was such a disappointment for a third movie in this franchise. But this is not about that one. That's about the first X-Men. Here she's passable. I could take what I can get from her. Ian McKellen chews up scenery as Magneto. I think he's really good. Yeah, he's gay. He's a gay actor. What can you expect from him acting all flamboyant in his performance? But he's the man. He's an awesome Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy. It was good to see Ray Parker. I mean, not Ray Parker. Ray Parks he was Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace. I thought he was pretty cool here as Toad. It was good to see his face this time instead of tons of makeup and I couldn't recognize him. The action is really good in the film. I think it still holds up. There's not tons of CGI. There is CG, but it's not like way too much of it that it becomes a cartoon. And the movie, it's 104 minutes. It's actually short. The other X-Men movies, especially Days of Future Past, and which was good. I thought it was decent. Not the best movie of last year, but decent. And First Class is like 2 hours long, and I'm sorry, you don't have to make a movie that long, especially when there's tons of exposition and talking and just no action. These were meant to be action films, and this one did it right. It did it right in the year 2000, and I have never hated this movie. I think it's a good movie. Yeah, it's a darker take on the X-Men compared to the cartoon, and they all wear black, and it's not really that colorful, but you know, it was what it was, and it worked, and it made Marvel a ton of money. And if it wasn't for this, we would have never gotten to the Avengers or, you know, any of the standalone Marvel films, and we wouldn't have had Fantastic Four, et cetera, et cetera. You know, Marvel really started from with Blade. That started the wheel, and this kept the wheel going. And I think the visual effects are good. It's well directed. This is Bryan Singer before he was a sick bastard. You know, after the 2000s, you know, when he had those allegations, I'm like, dude, just direct movies. Stop touching little girls or whatever you're doing. You know, there's always eyes watching you, especially when you're famous. But this movie still holds up. The PG-13 is well suitable for this film. It's got a violence that probably is too much for kids. You know, there's some sexual things in it, especially with Mystique. You know, it's got the atmosphere of the comics. I like that. I know there's some people not a fan of this movie. I am. I like this one, and I like the second one. The third one sucks. Origins, I don't care for. I have not seen First Class because it looked like a bore fest. I saw clips of it, and I was just bored. And it was trying to be a reboot, and to me, it doesn't work that way. Days of Future Past was capable. I liked it because it pretty much is the third movie that we were promised, except if you took all the prequel stuff out. And Cyclops should be front and center because I think James Marsden is an underrated actor. But you know, for the first X-Men movie, live action, and I waited years after the cartoon, we got a good one. So I still think this movie holds up. And this doesn't have all the features. It has a couple of the features on the back, but it's a fun movie. It's not that long, and it knows what it is, and it runs with it. And for a first timer, we could have gotten a lot worse. We could have got a Joel Schumacher X-Men, and it would have been terrible. But I like X-Men. It's definitely a solid film. And a lot of people had, said that the second one, is the best one. I agree, and I'm going to review that sometime. I want to see it again. Anyway, that's X-Men, the year 2000 film that really surprised me when I was a kid. Well, I was a teenager. I wasn't a little kid. But it's a good movie. I would give it a chance, especially with these new films coming out. Apocalypse, I'm holding my thoughts on that because I want to see a trailer. Because, the last one was decent, but only because I saw it after the hype train had gone off out of the station, and I saw it on DVD, and I was like, you know what? This isn't as boring as Days of Future Past. I mean, as First Class, and it's not as stupid as Origins, Wolverine, and the Wolverine I haven't seen because I heard bad things about it, mixed things, and Wolverine deserves a better film. He should have an R-rated film where he's just slicing and dicing people to bloody bits. And because of this PC world, it's hard to get that. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, that's X-Men. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting on my videos. You guys are awesome. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.